So
What's up?
how's it going, man?
Why are you nervous?
I don't know. I don't know. I mean, who knows? Who knows?
It's not like everyone in the room is watching you right now.
I know it's just one of those things that happen, right? So I don't know. I mean, try to figure out how we.
Because you're
got
wondering
here.
how someone as smart as you got suckered into a podcast with someone as dumb as me. Let's go.
The Film Zealots podcast, because you didn't know you needed their opinions. With your hosts, Sans and Chris. Episode 1. Just do it. Don't let your dreams stay dreams.
So this is the first episode in our podcast. I know kicking around the ideas, what we want to talk about is we want to try to tie this into topical things that are happening. And this week was the Republican National Convention nationally.
Greatest entertainment spectacle I've seen in a while.
I didn't watch a lot of it, but from what I saw, it was
like,
amazing.
You call yourself a Republican?
I
It was
don't.
like Monday Night Raw.
Oh, you don't?
I'm independent.
Oh, damn it.
Yeah.
We can't agree on that. Fuck. Oh.
You call yourself a Republican?
No, I'm an independent. Can we cuss on this?
Yeah, sure.
I don't want to.
Fuck, shit, fuck.
That's
I don't want to make it.
Victor's in the corner. Keep going.
Yeah, and then the other thing that happened in San Diego was Comic-Con.
Oh, yeah, we're in San Diego, and you're not.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Yeah, so we're here in San Diego, kind of where it all happens for Comic-Con. And so we thought we'd make some topics that were based off those two things. And you, Sans, came up with a topic that I'm going to let you kind of explain for the people.
Okay. So I think I put something to the effect of
I can always
villains
pull
that
it
could
up.
be seen as heroic and heroes that could be seen as villainous. And I guess I came up with that just because looking at
Oh, here you go. Well, villains that were actually heroic, heroes that were actually villains.
there you go, see,
Yeah.
Ray's here to keep us on track. And I think this whole year has kind of made me question, what do we really believe in, you know? Because it seems like,
Yeah.
okay, I don't want to go too far into Fox News or CNN
No,
territory.
go too far. Go too far.
But it's interesting how a lot of the people that built this country, what they did back then is similar to what's happening today. And the people today are called terrorists, but they were called patriots.
Oh, send your hate mail to...
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna stay as vague. I'm gonna leave it at that. And I just think, as far as the election goes, it feels like, especially in this election, no one's voting for anyone. It feels like they're voting against someone, and I don't know that really does any good. So it's kind of like, I like Wolverine because I hate Cyclops.
Right,
That
yeah,
makes
yeah.
no sense.
Like,
to me,
I-
that makes no sense, but I'm not a big comic guy. So.
I hate Wolverine and I hate Lobo, so therefore I have to vote for one of them, so I'm going to vote for Wolverine. Something
First off,
like...
you're fucking crazy because Lobo's cooler. Second,
That is, yeah.
you're Mr.
Everybody's
Marvel,
lining up
aren't
for those Lobo movies. Nobody...
you? Lobo
Can't wait to
Lobo
get on
did
that.
have an awesome cartoon in the 90s. That's why.
Oh, that's true.
That
He
is
didn't.
true.
Did he not have one?
No.
Did he
Hell
never
no.
show up in
Oh, no.
Batman the Animated Series?
No, he was in Batman Superman, and he was awesome.
Was that a show?
Yeah, wow, really?
I didn't watch a lot of...
Wow.
I didn't do a lot of DC.
The look of confusion on your face right now.
I didn't do a lot of DC. I'm not gonna like. We were at Me and Laura were at Comic-Con yesterday. Just walking around,
So you went to
and she said that she's a real big Batman fan, and I almost called my attorney.
It's a good.
Like,
Wow. Wow. Okay. First off, this is a glimpse into how the 1% live, because only the 1% actually make it to Comic-Con here.
we
Second-
didn't have tickets. We were walking around outside.
So you crashed.
We just walked. No, we
You're
just
a
walked
rebel,
around.
man. You're a fucking rebel. Why don't you like Batman?
My thing with Batman is
Because he's rich.
I don't know. I
1%er.
I think when I got into comics, my brother was into comics, and he seemed to be a Marvel guy. At least the ones that I would steal out of his room were like Marvel comics, so I'd read the X-Men. I remember getting a Web of Spider-Man #1 at a birthday party I went to when I was 5. And so I think I just went that way, and then
So
I
why-
never got into Batman because they just seemed too old. It just seemed like old. Even with the Batman 1989 movie, which in retrospect I like, at the time I didn't I didn't like that. I didn't like Dick Tracy.
Oh my.
I didn't like...
All right. This is my last day on the podcast. It was fun.
Well, I had to get a respect for Tim Burton.
Oh
you
my
know?
god. Okay, answer me this. So you didn't like Batman, but you liked the guy that was around in World War II fighting? Yeah, that's Wolverine.
Captain America?
No, Wolverine.
Oh,
Oh,
Wolverine.
you like him too?
Well, yeah, in retrospect, I
Yeah,
guess.
yeah.
I guess Wolverine fought in World War II.
I like Captain America.
I like Captain America too.
No, I like Captain America. You know what I will say? I loved Superman 3. That was one of my movies growing up. I loved it. It made me appreciate computer hackers. It made me appreciate...
Is that the one with Richard Pryor?
Yeah.
Yes, it is the one with Richard
Yes,
Pryor.
it is.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. And
All
it's
right.
good. And it's a good movie.
And that's the sound of us losing our one listener.
Anybody... Okay, I'm 37.
I think Victor
and
just walked out.
everybody can say that, like, their first exposure to Richard Pryor was, like, comedy albums or Live on the Sunset
Not
Strip
me.
or, like, some... No, it was Superman 3, Brewster's Millions, and that other one. What is the other... Like, the
Mine
toy.
was Harlem Night.
Was your first exposure to Richard Pryor was Harlem Nights?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
Like that strikes me as like
What, Chris? Is
because
what?
we're the same age, and it just
So,
seems
yeah.
like Harlem Nights was
Yeah.
like in like
to what?
89.
To what,
right?
Chris? To what?
What?
Nah,
To what?
just leading. Sorry.
I don't understand. No, but I mean, so like all those. So I really liked Richard Pryor. So I really liked Superman 3 because
That's why you like
You know?
Superman 3?
yeah,
Okay.
because Richard Pryor was in it, and he was in. Because on HBO they just played him all the time. They only owned like the rights to 5 movies,
Oh my
and 3 of
God.
them had Richard Pryor in them. So you were either watching that or First and 10. So
No JoJo Dancer?
no, they didn't have JoJo Dancer. They didn't even have was Bustin' Loose. What's the one with him and? Because remember he did those movies with the guy with the curly hair who married Gilda Radner, Gene Wilder,
Gene Wilder.
Willy Wonka. I should have known his name, but the real Willy Wonka. But they didn't even really play those. They were just playing his kid movies, I guess. I don't know. Those were probably, like, in retrospect now, like, as an adult, you probably think that those were cash grabs to fuel his cocaine habit. Like, because there's stories of him being coked up on set and all that. Like, Richard Pryor doesn't seem like he wants to trend to do the toy. That doesn't seem like Jackie Gleason's in it, and that guy, that weird kid who ends up going into porn later. The kid from the toy actually ends up having a porn career later.
Oh.
This is true. You can Google it. So
Hey,
where's our fact
we're
check?
we're not judging you for the facts that you know.
Yeah, I don't know
I'm
where
gonna fact check that.
we kind of went off.
I know the kid from what's it? A Christmas Story. He wasn't into gay porn. The one who got his tongue stuck to the pole.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
That was foreshadowing.
Oh, that's so good.
Wow.
So good. Oh my god.
Okay, so how did we get from Comic-Con to Richard Pryor?
Because you were talking about Lobo.
Oh,
So we were talking about Wolverine, Lobo.
okay.
And then it kind of spiraled.
always.
Yeah. It was
It's
good.
first episode. What do you expect?
Yeah, but I mean, to bring it back to, I guess what you were talking about, this concept of the reality, the way we perceive heroes in this country, and
Oh,
the reality of
yeah.
what heroes are.
I think in a nutshell, I've never been a big comic book fan. I guess I've always seen heroes as just entertainment because anytime you try to look at it realistically, it falls apart. And that's why I've never been a fan of the whole put a hero in a real world situation because it's stupid. Because one, the second you legitimize a hero, you basically say that the cops, the FBI, the NSA, the CIA, all those agencies are pointless. Like,
Sure.
that's why I can't get with the Avengers, because
Yeah.
there's no way all these government agencies are going to step aside and say, do this. The second thing is, this once you have this one body saying, this is what's right, then you're basically negating all these other ideas and beliefs.
Sure.
So, what Batman thinks is right, is that right? Or is that just what Bruce Wayne thinks is right? So, that's always been my issue with heroes. With all that said, how would you feel if there was someone like Batman running around supposedly stopping crime, but when he catches the really dangerous people, he just locks them up only to have them break out again?
This is like Daredevil. Like, oh, my friend's getting killed, but I'm not going to kill anybody. How would I feel if somebody...
No, not even within, like, as someone on the periphery. Like, say there's a Batman of San Diego.
You know, it's funny because
Is he fighting for you?
I would say vigilantism as a concept is great, right? Because I have
Why?
a lot of friends that... Because it's a bunch of people that are taking the initiative to clean up like society.
Really?
Right? I mean, like, yeah, in terms of like crime, violent crime, which is which can be an issue, even though the rates have fallen.
But
off
how do
over
you
the
clean
30
it up?
years. Well, ultimately, if you see something happening, you do something, right? I mean, like I'm saying, like
Like
it's
like
like
a kid with a black hoodie
no,
and some tea and some.
no.
I'm just saying that's a vigilante.
No.
Well,
Okay.
Well-
in the case of Phoenix Jones, though, like,
We're back.
Thanks for
We're back
Phoenix
to
Jones.
hey man, he's
Phoenix Jones
he's-
from Tacoma, Washington.
Phoenix Jones is badass. What are you talking about?
Somebody make sure we tag him.
Tell
He-
us
Tag him in
about
tag.
this Phoenix Jones. I know nothing about him. Actually.
No, he cooperates. I mean, depending on your definition of vigilantism, like they'll notify the cops
Yeah.
when something's about to go down. But like obviously, if there's an immediate need for response, he's there. You know. So I'm just saying, like he's just not running around doing shit.
He's actually there's some like method.
Yeah.
Like he has like some rules. Like
Yeah,
Batman
and-
has some rules.
And the
No guns.
Does
the
he?
cops are aware
Zack
of
Snyder.
his presence. You know, they
They're
know.
aware. Oh, so
they're
he
aware.
operates kind of. He's like almost like a. All right, this is like a deputy, right? Like 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 in Tombstone where they're like, I'm gonna make everybody in this room a deputy, and then you're allowed to just kill the people with the red sashes on. That's kind of what it's.
But that was revenge too.
Yeah, I mean a little bit.
There's
little
I think
bit.
there's definitely some like I don't remember, but I think there are cops that
What?
like don't agree with what he's doing because
Yeah.
he can get himself hurt. And I think he has been like stabbed a few times and stuff like that. But yeah,
Let me clarify my definition of vigilante. My definition of vigilante is more, I guess, the Punisher slash.
Yeah, no, I'm not okay with a guy that's just gonna
what I'm talking
hang a
about, when
Mexican
I'm
gang
talking
on street
vigilante, I mean, just to tie it to, the comics, or to bring it to reality. What was that guy's name that killed the kid? I forgot his name.
Oh, that what kid?
Yeah, exactly. The one, the kid that had the black hoodie on. That had
Oh, George Zimmerman.
Zimmerman, yeah,
Yeah.
like that. To me, that's a vigilante. It's one thing to be nosy and like call the cops when something happens, but when you
To go
have
out
that
looking for it.
fantasy
Yeah.
of being the hero, like cops get into enough trouble themselves, but they're trained to defuse these situations. You have people that can just afford to buy guns and tactical gear going out, and they think that's enough. So to me, that's a vigilante.
Yeah, yeah. no.
Why? And it's no different to me. That's no different than superheroes.
Do we need a group of like armed people roving the streets looking for crime?
Yes, and they're called the cops.
No, I mean like outside of the cops, like a group of citizens, like
why?
a militia or something.
so are you talking about the level of
No,
training?
I said, do we need? And
I
I'm
think training's
asking
a
myself,
huge
it's kind of
part. I think
rhetorical.
again, cops are trained to handle stuff, and you see what's happening there, how that's going. So, but at least when someone gets shot by a cop, the argument could be made, this is a cop. If you go out and shoot somebody, then you're just a murderer, dude.
Yeah, no. I mean,
I don't
definitely.
care if you think you stopped a crime or not, because typically, just because someone looks scary doesn't mean they're a criminal.
Oh, yeah, no, that's 100% correct.
So,
yeah.
That's, I guess
Yeah,
that's.
I mean that level of vigilantism. Yeah, I don't think that's a good thing.
And my problem is, I guess I'm looking too deep into this, because that's what I see when I look at superheroes.
Okay,
It's like, but I guess the caveat for superheroes is they have superpowers.
Some of them
Oh, you
have
can
like
fly,
extensive training
some
too.
of them-
Though.
Huh?
so it's like a watch.
Some of them have like extensive training.
Well, Captain, how would you feel about Captain America? Do you think he just
Captain
needs to get a
America
badge?
is a soldier. I have no problem with him.
But
Phoenix
he's fighting
Jones.
on
Phoenix
American
Jones is
soil.
a professional MMA.
Huh? Do I?
Phoenix Jones is also professionally fights in MMA.
Are you
so
Phoenix Jones's agent?
I know, right?
no,
Can we
I mean,
get an interview with this dude?
Yeah.
I mean, I just feel
Somebody
like
book
that's
him.
like I feel like that's a perfect example of what you guys are talking about.
But is he really like? Okay, you already
I
said
mean,
that. You
for
said that
or
cops,
against, I'm just saying he's.
Oh,
you
well,
know what I mean?
well,
he's like a real life situation because
yeah.
one, he's highly trained. Two, he has very good protocol because he has people videotaping what he's doing. He'll notify the cops before he engages. It's similar
So you're
to like
saying this is the role. This
I'm
is
not
the
saying-
model of vigilantism.
No, I'm
Let
just-
me ask you this:
that
Is-
the world.
is-
I'm just
is
saying.
Phoenix-
I'm just saying he's better than the kid that walks around in North Park with the batons.
Is there a kid that walks
Yeah.
around North Park with a baton?
Yeah, I don't know his name, but yeah.
Is
so
that bad?
keep watching the news because you may see
You might see.
that he was beat up by an angry Filipino.
You know what I mean? Like, I think
So there's a way it can
there's
be
a
done.
level of if you're gonna be a vigilante, I think there's a level of responsibility.
There is, and I guess this is where I would like split it, because everything you said is more reality based. When you veer more into the comic books, you have like this guy's probably stopping like a purse snatcher or something. Batman is stopping organized crime. This guy, what's his name? Phoenix
Jones.
Phoenix
Yeah,
down. Thanos down.
Every time you say that, I think Simon Phoenix. Phoenix Jones is
kinda-
not bringing down the Sopranos.
No, I don't.
He's not.
No.
You know.
No, he's more or less like stopping like brawls and.
But is
stuff
that
like
guy okay? The concept of I keep going to Batman, but
But they also
because I think
Everybody loves Batman.
well, it's not even that, because I guess Batman is more on a local. It's more local, but you talk the Avengers, that's more global.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
He's a local hero. He
Yeah, I guess
protects
that's
Gotham
why
City.
I keep going that route.
He can use Daredevil. He just lets. He wants one.
I can
neighborhood.
actually
Like
buy
one neighborhood.
Daredevil more than Batman, to an extent, to a
Really?
degree,
Like-
to an extent,
Oh, as a something that could really happen.
to a certain
Because he's basically Phoenix Jones.
yeah.
Phoenix
Except for the
Jones is
fact that he's
basically
blind.
Daredevil. Yeah,
And people
yeah.
don't know who he is. But what I'm saying is, with Batman, his whole presence, like part of what Batman is his presence. He's like the boogeyman. He's like Kaiser Soze. He was like the boogeyman to criminals.
Yeah.
Isn't that kind of like being a terrorist?
No, I see.
Really?
Here's the thing. No.
Okay, if
no,
you're a
no.
cop,
No, I mean, like, I think there's an important distinction to make between, especially today, like, okay, so ISIS, right? So ISIS, because what you're fighting for, and yeah, maybe that's all up to, maybe that's up to hindsight, but we have to. And again, this is not. I don't want to get too political here,
do it.
but you have to make those distinctions. Like, I think as responsible adults can make the distinction that, like, yeah, when you're fighting ISIS and ISIS is beheading homosexuals and blowing up cities and forcing women, like raping women and young kids, like, yeah, okay, us fighting them, that doesn't make them freedom fighters. They're
Okay.
fighting for the freedom to do horrible things. Like, we were fighting for the freedom to not pay taxes.
What I'm saying is, if you're a cop and there's somebody out there that literally has the entire city scared, even though you're allegedly on the same side, if the city, not just criminals, because if you're scaring criminals, you're clearly scaring regular people.
Right.
Batman is a scary in the movies. He's scary.
Yeah, everyone's
Yeah.
scared of him.
Why would the cops not be against that?
Because I think in that mythos, right? Like in the Batman universe, the good cops are never scared of Batman, right? Because Commissioner Gordon's the bright line example of what a good cop fighting against corruption is, right? Or in Daredevil, the lieutenant that I guess sergeant or lieutenant that
He's a
they work
sergeant?
with, sergeant.
Yeah.
Whatever his name is, Sully, or I don't remember, but they're buddy. He's like the Commissioner Gordon of that universe, right?
his
so-
mom smokes cigars. That's all I know.
Yeah. Anybody. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Anybody good. Anybody on the good side of the ledger is okay with.
Okay,
It.
that's within the comic book. Take it out of the comic book and
Take
put
it out of the
in real
comic book.
world.
Yeah, I think that it would be concerning.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Because, okay, you're a producer. Let's say you're in the middle of a shoot and someone just comes in and takes your clipboard from you and pushes you to the side. It's going to piss you off, right?
Yeah.
Because it's your job.
Yeah.
Now, imagine your job involves
like that's
saving lives,
happened.
collecting
Yeah.
evidence.
Yeah.
Like, police work. Well, you said your father was in law enforcement, so
Yeah.
you know it's complicated. So to have someone just come in and be like, oh, I got this.
I solved the.
Yeah, I got my own crime lab. Don't worry. Well,
Yeah. Yeah.
it's not national security, but it's
Do you think that there's a point?
I don't know. If somebody said I got my own crime lab, don't worry, I'd be like, oh shit.
I'd be very worried, right?
I'd be like, let me see that crime lab.
Yeah, I guess the other side of the coin is how much can you
Get
get away
sidearm?
with? Yeah.
sorry.
I mean, I see your point, and I think ultimately it's right. Like, yeah, if Batman was in the real world,
Yeah. And that's all That's all
Yeah.
I'm saying. So basically what I'm saying is we need to make the purge a real thing, and I'm for chaos.
well said.
The
Well said.
Warriors will one day be a true story. I'm done.
All right. Well, I want to get to before we're done. I want to get to some of these other, like, kind of the
Similars.
yeah,
Sim-
well, the
similarities.
heroes that are villains, villains that are heroes. Not just the
I
perception
mean,
of it, but
it
like,
does kind of, it does kind of blend into what we're talking about because it's the perception
yeah,
of who the actual hero is, or who's the actual villain, or like who's actually doing something wrong.
Can I be controversial?
yeah.
The hero's the one that wins the fight.
Well, that's like the heroes are the history is written by the winners.
Yeah.
It's kind of like that thing, right?
Yeah,
like
no,
that.
it's not kind of. It's exactly that.
But I mean, like, does that hold up? Like, like as we're getting further and further away from these, with these things, like when you can take hindsight back to, the frontier and what we've done to the Native Americans in this country.
Yeah.
We're no longer seen as like the Americans. For a lot of people, are no longer seen as the good guys in that story.
Yeah. How's that helped the natives since then?
Not much.
So there you go. They still lost.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, but what I'm saying is, the perception of who's the hero and who's the villain can change over time. It can change overnight.
But at the end of the day, when people start chanting USA, I mean, I get what you're saying, but I disagree. I think once it's written, it's debated for a while, and then it's just because time keeps going.
Yeah, I think
I don't know.
I think Beast wrote the story Sleeping Beauty after he killed what's his name, Gaston?
That was Beauty and the Beast.
Oh,
Right.
man.
Or,
That's Beauty.
oh, I said, did I say Sleeping Beauty?
Yeah, you did say Sleeping Beauty.
Oh, he probably wrote that too, but
the Rose. The
Beast.
Rose wrote Sleeping
yeah,
Beauty.
that's his
He's killed
mo.
Sleeping Beauty. Is that what you're saying?
No, that's his mo. He lives in a castle
He just kills women.
and like does bitches.
Oh, I'm sorry. That's so not good. That's so not good. Just the way you
This-
delivered that.
This is the guy that didn't want a microphone.
Yeah. No,
But-
but I feel like there's a book out by Chuck Klosterman
Oh
that's
God!
about
Now you bring in literature into
no,
it.
that's
you know
about,
I can't
and
read.
I've read it yet, but I listened to that Marin podcast today,
Oh.
and even he was saying, in 100, in 200, 300 years, and this was his example. When somebody talks about reggae, they'll be able to just say Bob Marley, and like everyone else, like Barrington Levy, and like everyone else is going to kind of fall by the wayside.
Yep.
And his other example was Andrew Lloyd Webber in marching music, right? Is that who it
Yeah.
was? Andrew Lloyd Webber, the guy who did the marching music.
He does music. Are you talking about
John Philip Sousa. Yeah, thank you.
Oh.
John Philip Sousa and marching music. Thanks.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's just they're kind of synonymous, right? I mean, like there's some genres that are bigger, but when you get into the small, like classical music is obviously.
So when it's rap, it's gonna be Drake.
It's gonna be Kanye. What are you
It's gonna
talking
be
about?
Drake.
Who would it be?
It would be Drake.
Kanye.
I think right now they probably say Jay-Z right
Yeah,
now.
I'd say right now it's
Would it be
Jay-Z.
Jay-Z?
They probably say Jay-Z or Tupac or Biggie. It'd be one of those three. I say Drake, but yeah,
Yeah.
Canada.
Canada, the hotbed,
Canadian
the hotbed
rap.
for rap, Canada. It all
But-
started in the '6.
I guess to step away from the superhero, to quit bashing all the superheroes. I remember when I was little because my father was big into westerns. Like
Yeah.
he loved like all the Italian westerns. And I remember watching the High Plains Drifter with him. Have you seen that?
Hmm.
Oh, you haven't seen it. Okay.
Yeah.
Have you seen it?
Yeah.
Okay.
What?
Well, the High Plains Drifter is kind of I don't want to ruin it for anyone that hasn't
Don't
seen
worry,
it.
don't worry.
But it's basically a revenge story.
Yeah.
Or Clint Eastwood. The movie opens with Clint Eastwood riding into town, and basically for the whole film, he's basically fucking with this town. But there's this subplot where this woman just keeps yelling at him, like throughout the film. She just
pops up in a random.
yeah,
place
she just
and
yells at
kills
him for no reason.
Yeah.
So at a certain point, he just grabs her by the arm and like takes her into this barn and just throws her down and basically rapes her.
Okay.
But halfway through, I guess, it's like, oh, well, she has to enjoy it because it's sex. So, and I just remember watching that thinking, this isn't right. I was very uncomfortable because it was clearly rape. But yeah, he's the hero of that movie. And basically I guess I will ruin it. The backstory was this gang rode into town and basically bullwhipped the sheriff to death. And no one in the town helped him. So it was his ghost coming back for revenge. So not only did he kill all the people that murdered him, he basically shamed the entire town. And he just rides off at the end.
So he's the embodiment.
Yeah, he was vengeance. He was a spirit of vengeance.
And the spirit of rape.
Apparently, and yeah, I mean, seriously,
he's a ghostwriter.
because I thought it was a great movie.
How is it? That's not. There's no like. I mean, because this is going back to the last topic. This is how the history changes. Like, because when they wrote that movie, like,
oh yeah,
the
I guess it
MPAA
was
or
cool
whatever
to just
was
grab a woman.
it's,
And
yeah, it's just fine, and now
it's just wrong. It's just
it's of course it's wrong.
it weirded me out, man. I was
Yeah, and
I
it
was nervous.
skews you out, like, because your context is different than the context of the person writing it.
But I was like 12 and I knew.
Yeah,
I was like, no. She said no. Why is the mean man just going for it? And she just kept going. And then she said yes, and I was like, but you said no earlier.
I wonder how long, like, that script was in development before they're like, you know what, we're gonna have to make her say yes at some point. Like, it wasn't just like somebody on set came to them, like, or somebody's wife, and they were like, maybe this is rape.
Just imagine Clint Eastwood. He's like, keep saying no. Keep saying no.
After that, like, speech to an empty chair thing, I kind of.
Why did she say yes?
Clint Eastwood's interesting.
He's amazing.
Like that Sully movie that's coming out. Like, I was trying to think of, like, if you're an actor and you're on the set of a Clint Eastwood movie and you know that, like, you could give what you feel is the worst take of the day and he could just be like, fuck it, it's time for lunch. Like, how do you deal with something like that? Like, are you just constantly have to be giving the best performance?
Yeah, maybe that's his thing. Like,
yeah, that is his thing.
No, yeah, like, so because you feel like you don't know what he's gonna take, you got to be on your A game.
Yeah.
And that he won he tricked you into giving your A game.
We're working 8 hours today.
Yeah.
4 of it, they're gonna be lighting the shot. 2 hours, the second director's gonna be running rehearsals, and then we're gonna finish our scene in 5 minutes. Then we're done. That's all we need to do.
Action. Cut. Done.
What? There's no real baby? All right, put the plastic baby in. Let's go. Action. Real baby stuck in traffic. Shit. All right, get that plastic baby in. All right, burning daylight.
Fire the baby.
Yeah, we burned all our real baby takes for the day. Actually, no, because it's just one take. It's got to be the traffic thing. Oh man. All right. So High Plains Drifter. You see that as a good example.
Well,
of
yeah, because
because
Clint Eastwood's like one of those, heroes.
That's a really good one because that's not like
That's not a hero.
there's no
You don't
spin.
rape
There's
people.
no spin. Like, yeah, once you kind of cross that line.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess you could spin it into aggressive lovemaking, but
No, you can't spin it. Like, I mean, like, all my examples involve some kind of spin, right? I mean, like,
let's hear 'em.
Okay, so here's one that so we talked about a little bit, off before we started rolling. The Federation in Star Trek. Like, all right, so the Federation in Star Trek.
Mhm.
They have this Prime Directive. They call it the Prime Directive, right? Like, I watched a lot of Star Trek, but I'm by no means a Star Trek genius. Or, like, I don't have all. Is anybody here like a Star Trek expert?
Yeah, Victor.
All right. So the Prime Directive is, like, don't change anything. It's like the butterfly effect. Don't step on the bug, or everything's going to change. Something
So
like that.
you're saying if they're fighting, you must let them fight.
Yeah.
I just
Right.
like saying that.
Yeah, no, I get, like, you're not supposed to interfere with like the certain cultures,
Right.
So
like primitive cultures.
So you're
and-
saying let them fight.
But they seem to exist, yeah. But they seem to exist just to do that. Like, that seems to be the first rule, is the
apparently-
rule that we break the most.
apparently banging primitive cultures is
Yeah.
probably not in the Prime Directive, because doesn't Kirk
You
do
know,
that like every
I'm-
episode?
I'm just gonna
He does. He does have a lot
I'm just
of...
gonna jump in and say we're recording this on a Sunday after Star Trek Beyond has come out, and there's a lot of green women in that movie that I would totally just. Yeah.
You would totally
I'm just
break
saying.
the Prime Directive.
You paid a hot chick a different color, she's still hot. That's all I'm saying.
All right, I'm going to ask you a question.
Yes.
Is it
Say-
worth?
Go ahead.
It's worth breaking the Prime Directive for?
Oh, there's plenty of women in Star Trek worth breaking the Prime Directive for. Come on.
Like, there's some movies, like the Coneheads, right? They have sex in the Coneheads by, like, touching the cones of their heads together. Like, how come in Star Trek, we're as humans, we assume that, like, having sex with a green alien is the same as having sex with a...
Because, Chris,
non-green.
human men have magical penises.
But, I mean, like, does the
when
enjoyment
we
change?
have we
Does
have
the
this, we
enjoyment
have the
change?
ability to, when we turn women on, it just works for us.
Like even for like
Snoo
The look on
Snoo.
Chris's face.
I think Snoo Snoo is universal. That's why.
Snoo Snoo.
Yeah.
It's universal.
Snoo.
I-
No, I agree with you. Every time I look at a science fiction movie, I always think that. I'm like, why do we assume that aliens are bipedal? Like,
Yeah, why did the
Well,
plumbing works?
they look like us. And
Well,
yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of my problem with Star Trek, and you can send your hate mail to me.
Ray
but
at INFTV.
That's my problem with Star Trek because a lot of the aliens have the similar attributes.
Right. Yeah.
But, I mean, I get it because the first show was low budget and
yeah.
that's what you do.
That's not his only problem. His second problem is that Star Trek's better than Star Wars.
Ouch.
That's another show. That's another show. Put the gun away, Ray. Let's go. Let's continue.
Yeah, that was I actually almost wrote that down, that the Empire is the good guy, like because I saw some spin online, something like that, like the Empire, but I have no like.
Are you
like
talking about Clerks?
Ray would just kill me.
Talking
Was it
about
Clerks?
Clerks?
Yeah. Maybe it was Clerks. Yeah.
The rebellion comes, they blow up the Death Star, like
Yeah.
all those contractors.
Yeah, they're terrorists.
Kind of are.
And it's a revenge plot too, right?
So you're
Because they
saying
were in control
Yoda is
first.
really Osama bin Laden?
Yeah, he's living in a tree.
Kill them all you will.
He's hiding on a planet.
All you will praise.
Yeah, but I did leave that one out. Just
That
so.
should be a movie. That should be a movie.
What?
It's like Zero Dark 30, but with stormtroopers.
Oh, instead of Rogue One, like it's told from the
Yeah,
alternate
they're
perspective.
hunting-
You know, that'd be awesome, but
They're
at
hunting
the
down
end-
Yoda.
Would it be Yoda?
Yeah,
How do you get Yoda, man? That's
I don't-
like
Nobody did.
you don't. Apparently
Yeah, I
not.
don't- yeah.
you don't get Yoda
Yeah, apparently. Yeah, they didn't.
unless
Okay.
you send Kylo Ren in. He just starts hacking everything.
Yeah.
Oh man, I love that guy. He's like my favorite Star Wars character ever.
It's so hard to see him from not be
I love
Adam
that guy.
Driver from Girls. It's so hard for him not to be like, I'm
It's-
gonna come on your
it's so-
tooth.
It's so
Or,
hard.
yeah, like,
It's so hard.
That's
to
what I
believe-
thought he was gonna say when Ray was in the in the seat.
So
Yeah.
hard to believe that I'm doing a podcast with people that actually watched Girls.
it's a good show.
Yeah, sure it is. Yeah.
It's a good
Yeah,
show.
yeah, I know. Yeah. Ray, edit that out, please.
Nobody in this
I
room.
only watched the first season.
The first.
All 5 seasons. There's some enjoyable there.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Send your hate mail to him again. All you Girls fans.
Yeah, both of you.
Both of you. 5 seasons on HBO.
Thank you.
Not easy to get. Not easy to
I
get.
agree with that.
They got to be doing something right.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So here's my other one. This is kind of like an RNC tie-in, like RNC DNC
Did
tie-in.
we explain Star Trek? Did you explain it?
Yeah, just that they're cloning lists that are like
Yeah.
constantly violating the Prime Directive.
Yeah.
Oh,
Like they're
I see.
exploring new worlds, but like he's dropping a baby like in every single place that he goes.
Be fruitful and multiply, man.
Yeah, right.
What's wrong with that?
He's in case the human race gets disintegrated, we know we've got different babies out
Don't
there.
you remember Braveheart? Man, breed them out.
Our Filipino friend whose ancestors were put on torture racks and told to worship the Christ god instead of the sun god or whatever.
All right. What you guys can't see is Ray slowly pulling out a knife and eyeing Chris.
No, I mean,
very
like, it's-
I'm
intensely.
slowly pulling out my yo-yo.
And awkward silence.
I think we're gonna get so much hate for this one episode.
Nah, Ray,
I think
Ray
we just
will-
like
Nah, no one will
look
listen.
at Carlos. Carlos is over here like Carlos hasn't stopped
Carlos
cringing.
is like, man, I should be at home playing Xbox.
I'm not
What the
sharing
hell?
this on Facebook, and if this goes viral,
If it goes viral, that means people are listening.
All right, so what's
yeah, because they hate us.
Oh, that's fine.
what's this RNC thing?
Okay, the RNC thing, and this is another one people are gonna hate me for. Woodward and Bernstein and All the President's Men.
Oh.
They're heroes, they're villains. But like, let's get to 2016. Let's look at this through 2016 lenses, right?
Okay.
So who gets impeached because of it?
President.
Nixon, right? Nixon.
Mhm.
What did Nixon believe in? What was on Nixon's platform? Universal health care. Nixon was a universal health care guy. He normalized relations with China. He would be our most liberal president since JFK. Actually, since Johnson, because Johnson. So you impeached a guy who, if we brought him to 2016, there's no way in hell he's a Republican. They're just gonna kill him, right? No, there's Tea Party's gonna rip him up. He'd get primaried. He never would have made it out of the House. There's no way he's Eisenhower's vice president. But you know, of course, there's a lot of bad about Nixon. The racism.
I just want to stop and point out that you suddenly legitimized this podcast. Keep going.
Oh, I'm sorry. Thank
No,
you.
that's good. It's
No,
good.
no.
You just raised our IQ. Like, I'm actually thinking now. I'm like, holy shit. My brain's working.
So, I mean, so for me, like those two guys and Bob Woodward, he's like a Fox News mainstay nowadays, which is really weird. But
I got it. Okay. So you're saying they're not heroes, or are you likening them more to villains?
I'm saying that they removed from office what would be the most progressive candidate in 2016. Maybe he wasn't in 76. Obviously wasn't, and he gave us Gerald Ford. But maybe is that a good thing or a bad thing?
Is it Ford the one that fell all the time?
He's the one. Yeah, the one that Chevy Chase.
Well, he gave us entertainment. That, you know what? I cannot disagree with you because I've never looked at it that way. That's interesting.
Yeah.
But Nixon broke the law. No one's above the law. So
Yeah.
that guy.
For a guy, he's a
and he went to
paranoid-
China. He's a communist.
a petty paranoid man that was going to win an election by 13 points and broke the law just to confirm it, which is really
Brought it himself.
he did it to himself.
I got one I know Ray will agree with.
What's that?
Oh man, I don't know how old this film is. I want to say about 15 years ago, Hollywood was suddenly woken up by, well, I guess it wasn't his debut, but a masterpiece by a genius by the name of Michael Bay. A brilliant film set in San Francisco, in which a very, very brave man by the name of General Hummel.
Big ups to.
Okay, I'm talking about
big
The
ups
Rock.
to
Yeah,
Hummel.
that was 20 years ago, by the way.
Was that 20? Oh, you're
96, right? Yeah.
Was it 96?
Yeah, it's 90. I think it's 96.
Oh god. Okay, I'm drinking after this. The thing I remember about that film, because sitting in a theater, that's one of the best action movies I remember watching in a theater. It's like up there with like The Matrix and Die Hard and Predator for me. Just sheer entertainment. But the thing that was so weird about that, and maybe only Die Hard's the other film to do this, is I was like, I don't feel like I should be rooting against the bad guy. But the difference is in Die Hard, he was clearly a thief.
Is there a line that, like, when he pointed the chemical weapons at San Francisco, where you like, maybe it's time to jump off the Ed Harris train?
But see, here's the thing. I'm not saying what he did was right. And this is why when I say like heroes and villains, it's kind of like what Dennis Farina said. The difference between a cop and a criminal is one bad decision.
Did he say this on NYPD Blue?
I saw it on like some I think it was Heat.
Is that
Like
Dennis?
it was a making of, because he used to actually be a cop. He was like an advisor to Michael Mann before he started acting.
Oh,
or
which
something
one's
like that.
Dennis Farina?
He was the guy on Crime Story. He was Jennifer Lopez's father in Out of Sight.
Oh,
But
I like that
in The Rock, everything that Ed Harris's character, or General Hummel, says, you can't disagree with it. Because we like to, in times of war, call soldiers heroes and say they deserve this and say they deserve that. But when it's over, we want to forget about it. It's like,
Yeah,
just
that
let's be
speech,
done with
that
it.
speech alone he gave.
Yeah.
Was,
So,
you want to do push-ups?
so,
Put them on Facebook
but
and challenge other people to do push-ups.
But I
So you can
totally
do push-ups.
I totally get why he did it. But what he did clearly wasn't right. But it was hard for me. And I remember in the theater, the part where he gets shot, the audience was sad when his character died. And I think even the writers realized that he was less of a villain because they killed him off first. Like
he was bluffing, right? Wasn't he bluffing?
he was
Wasn't
bluffing.
he exposed
but-
to be
yeah.
bluffing in that movie?
Yeah, he was bluffing, but still, he still, to get to that point,
yeah, he's still driven.
Yeah.
he still did a bad thing,
Right, yeah.
So
What was that
basically,
speech?
General Hummel
Yeah.
was like Donald Trump, and those mercenaries were like, the rest of you want to be Republicans that jumped off the train because the truth is here, and he's trying to make America great again, and you guys are afraid of the future.
Somebody.
That's a very
I don't-
political podcast.
This is becoming an extremely political podcast.
We're talking about heroes, dude.
Yeah.
There's nothing more political.
No, but you're right. The Rock is that was on my list.
I'm just joking.
Can,
by
can
the way,
you
Chris.
pull up his monologue?
Did they bother to tell you who I am, why I'm doing this, or are they just using you like they do everybody else?
All I know is you were big in Vietnam. I saw the highlights on television.
And you wouldn't have any fucking idea what it means to lead some of the finest men on God's earth into battle and then see their memory betrayed by their own fucking government.
I don't quite see how you cherish the memory of the dead by killing another million. And This is not combat. It's an act of lunacy, General Sir. Personally, I think you're a fucking idiot.
Tree of Liberty must be refreshed from time to time with the blood of patriots and tyrants. Thomas Jefferson.
Patriotism is the virtue of the vicious, according to Oscar Wilde. Thank you for making my point.
Where are the guidance chips? Where are the guidance chips?
I destroyed them.
That's a bad move, soldier.
Does that mean you'll execute us both?
I mean, I know he's not like the main villain, but that EPA guy, he's just doing his job because these guys had like untested equipment.
Yeah.
What?
And his job is to make sure no incidents happen.
Yeah.
And what happens?
What happens was he shut it down when Egon told him not to, Ray. He is not the hero. He is not the victim.
What happens?
What happened? He released the ghost. It was his call.
Yeah, but I mean, like, but if there was a world where people were strapping nuclear reactors on their back and running around and opening them in public,
But
like the
in this world where these people have these nuclear reactors,
Sans?
this is a world where ghosts openly exist. I'm afraid of ghosts. Would you be
Not
afraid
openly,
of ghosts?
not openly.
But they're
This
not
is
afraid
a
of ghosts.
pre-internet
Okay, all right.
They're here
all
to
right.
save us.
Would you be concerned about a ghost or a guy with like a nuclear reactor that can go off?
Do you remember what the tagline for Ghostbusters was? The first movie. They're here to save the world. They saved us from ghosts, man.
Yeah, but I mean, like, that's something that happens.
They're scientists.
That's
You
something
can trust
that you
scientists,
understand,
right?
Like during the credit
Not
sequence
all
of
of
that
them are
movie,
scientists.
when everybody's covered
That's true.
in marshmallow,
Yeah.
and Bill Murray's making out with
Sigourney Weaver? Ellen Ripley?
Yeah, Ellen Ripley.
Oh god, that's so hot.
Yeah, and that's something you understand then. But like when they're in the hospital, like not in the hospital, in the library, and it's just some ghost that scares them, or when they're in the hotel and like they bust up a hotel to get one Slimer.
What's wrong with that?
No, what I'm saying is you don't understand the gravity of the situation then. Like not until the gate master and the gatekeeper and the key
Oh,
master.
I thought you said the gay master.
No, the gate master. Yeah, the gate. Yeah.
The key master.
You don't understand. Like
gate.
that's all. That's a hindsight. You know, that's a hindsight.
So you're agreeing with Ray.
I'm no. I mean, because that guy was also the guy who tried to shut down Chris Knight in Real Genius.
Yes, he is. Yes, he is.
Totally different movie.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Chris sees the
guy.
light.
That guy just doesn't like scientists.
Yeah, it's
Exactly.
true, yeah. That guy's just anti-science. He's
Yeah.
probably somewhere denying global warming right now.
I have one also. I mean, it's like one of my favorite movies. But and I never thought about it until I had to think about it for this podcast. What is Night of the Living Dead? I don't know if you remember the movie that much. Okay, so you have all these characters, right? But then there's like the dad, wife, and his daughter who's bitten in the basement.
Oh, you gotta kill her, right?
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So he's like super paranoid, totally irrational, but he doesn't want to leave the basement. He's making his case that the basement is the safest place, and he's gonna do whatever it takes to protect his family.
Yeah.
While the rest of the people up top are, trying to get out or trying to defend the house and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Yep.
They the daughter who's bitten ends up killing the wife.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember if it kills the father too, but
The father dies. I can't remember how.
yeah.
But that's a very short-sighted hero.
But I mean,
Ultimately,
So you're saying he was the hero?
I'm saying the guy that everyone hated was in the right because ultimately the main character, after everyone up top died, the main character went into the basement, locked the door, and survived.
oh,
You remember why though? It's not because he wanted to. His whole the whole purpose was the guy was saying that they should go down to the basement immediately and just stay there.
Yeah.
But there was no way out of the basement.
Yeah.
The only way was through the house. And the guy said, if we go into that basement, that's gonna be our tomb.
Yeah.
I could have swore he went up to the attic. I thought he went up to the attic. I can't remember. It's been so long since I've seen that movie. But
totally valid point.
because the only reason he did it was because the house got overrun.
Yeah.
But so you're saying he deserved to get shot at the end?
No, that
Yeah.
I don't think you got.
I see where you're going, Ray.
I don't think you.
I see
deserve to
where
get
you're
shot
going.
for it.
But
I mean, the irony is
I
that
agree with you.
the irony
What?
is he stayed in the basement.
yeah. Like he ends up doing what he's arguing against the entire time.
Yeah.
because it ends up being the right plan.
One that's not so political is Ferris Bueller.
Oh God.
Oh, I mean, who's the good? Like Rooney's not good though. The sister.
All I'm saying
The
is,
sister can be.
The
here.
guy-
The sister was the hero.
if I had a friend who said, "Let's ditch class, and let's like do all this shit in the city, and I'm gonna crash your dad's car."
Actually, Ferris didn't do that.
Well,
Cameron did.
either
Cameron did
yeah,
that,
yeah.
But I mean, regardless, your dad's car is gonna get totaled in the process.
Have you heard the theory that Ferris Bueller was a figment of Cameron's imagination?
No.
That's what Carlos said.
Yeah, you never heard that theory? It makes the movie more likable because I can't stand Ferris Bueller. I've
I
never
like
liked
Ferris
him.
Bueller. Ferris Bueller is like.
He's a rich kid that gets away with shit.
That's that's my
but
point.
I mean, like,
that's my point.
It's a John Hughes movie. John Hughes movies are about like rich kids,
You know
like in
what?
Chicago suburbs that get away with stuff.
We totally got off topic, but that explains why in The Breakfast Club, the principal's my favorite character. My favorite scene is when he has the bully. The bully guy,
Judd Nelson.
the tough
Judd
kid.
Nelson.
Yeah, I hated that guy. Anyway, when he has him in the closet and he's telling him to hit him and he looks scared.
Yeah.
Yeah, I laugh every time I see that scene. I know it's horrible. I know,
Is it horrible?
but he was my favorite character. Him and the janitor.
No. I think that you know, just like based on a lot of things, you can look back at all those movies and say like they're just about spoiled.
No, I was like that as a kid. As a kid, when I saw it, I didn't like him
Oh yeah.
because he was crying. Oh, my dad beats me. I was like, yeah, mine does too. My stepfather.
This just got
Well, we just got dark. All
This just
right.
got really dark. So okay, well let me lighten it up again.
I got one more. I got two more actually.
Brainy Smurth,
I
hero.
got two more.
All right,
Okay,
go ahead.
All right. Matt Damon in The Bourne Identity. Jason Bourne's really the villain.
Thank you.
Let me bring this to light. We live in a world.
Thank you. Edit out
Yeah.
the rest of these segments. This one. Go.
Yeah. All right, we live in a world where we want to believe that our government is capable of creating soldiers that can take care of problems. Problems that we don't necessarily want to know about because the American way of life needs protecting in a certain way. We don't have superheroes, so we have to create our superheroes, right? But then in this movie, the asset goes bad, right? And once the asset goes bad, we also want to believe that our government would be able to clean this up because it's what helps us sleep at night. I think Ed Harris talks about this in The Rock. Like
you
all the
even
bad
watch
guys
this
that
movie?
die are the bad guys, but like the actual government in that movie is trying to do a just thing, which is clean up a mess that they made that we asked them to make without asking them to make it. Like it's an implied contract that we have with the government that they'll be able to do these things. So they're not the villains in these movies. Like Jason Bourne is the actual villain.
No, there's no kinda. I agree. That's why I hated the last one because you get to the end and you realize he volunteered for it, and I'm like, why? So why? I'm like, and I've had people argue with this. Well, he didn't know. They
But he
tell
knew.
him.
Yeah.
They tell him.
Yeah, he knew.
It's like, Chris, we're gonna brainwash you and you're gonna kill a lot of people. Okay.
Start with this guy. Start with this guy in the corner. Pick up the gun and put 2 bullets in his head. You don't know who he is. He's got a thing over his head. Like, just kill him. And he does. He just picks up the gun and he kills him.
So I agree. And I like the Bourne movies, but I think it's the third one. I don't know if the third one did it for you, but when we got to the end, when we got to that revelation, I was like, fuck.
Yeah, yeah.
This
It's
is stupid.
No. And now he can't sell a punch. Like in the new movie that's coming out.
But,
Well, you know,
Can't sell a
the
punch.
serum.
But his
only-
best friend's
only
Batman,
lasts so
so
long.
leave him alone. His best friend's Batman.
Well,
And we
okay.
come
Well,
full circle.
speaking of military assets, if you guys agree with that, I think Carlos disagrees though. Then Short Circuit. That's a robot
Hey.
with a laser cannon
Hey.
running around,
Hey. Hey.
and
Wow.
they're just trying to
Wow.
get it.
And it's AI. There's another argument
Yeah.
that it's AI with a weapon. At some point, it's going to decide what all.
If
all
you take-
artificial
if you take
intelligence
the-
decides.
Johnny 5 is on live.
If
We got Carlos. Someone give him a mic.
I'm just saying.
if he had that stupid magnetic crane thing, which was better in my opinion,
Oh yeah.
that's in the second one.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Then okay, but he had a deadly laser cannon.
Yeah, he did have a deadly laser
But
cannon.
he's alive. At that point, he's sentient. He's just like a person.
Yeah, so
Well,
now
they
he's
should
like
be
a
the
now
same.
he's like a live person with a gun instead of a
yeah,
robot
so-
with
Yeah,
a
that's
gun.
good. That's what you call a Republican.
Hold on.
Actually,
If he's
that was
alive-
wrong. Republicans,
So
I
you're basically saying Any
apologize.
person who has a gun is a bad guy.
Get him,
No.
Carlos. Oh,
But no,
welcome
no.
to the Carlos and
Johnny
Three
Five
Fools
is alive.
podcast.
How alive is he, Carlos? If they're able to shut him off, Because don't they remotely shut him off at some point?
Hey, can't you just shut him off by
You can
killing
shut
him?
Ray off. Just put a sniper on the
I can't turn his ass back on. Like once I shut Ray off, if nobody fucks with the guy from Police Academy,
No,
when he
Goodberg.
shuts off.
They don't know
Huh?
that if you kill his power, they don't know if he's gonna come back and still be the same living Johnny Five.
No, the other guy from Police Academy.
Because if he gets the
Oh, the bad guy, the hero
Yeah,
of the
the
movie. My favorite character.
if he gets wiped, if he gets the raid, they don't know if he's gonna come back as Johnny Five.
Right.
So he'll be dead. Johnny Five will be dead.
So he's not alive.
They're not. They don't. No, he's
So,
alive.
so
How is
this
he alive?
proves.
Him off.
So
They
what
don't know
Carl,
if he's gonna come
I'm
back.
gonna clarify what Carlos is saying, which proves the point I made earlier. Zombies are real. Johnny Five died and he was reborn. Robot Jesus.
Oh.
What? Am I wrong?
Let's just touch them all.
Am I wrong? Did I ruin your point? Okay, I'm sorry.
I'm just saying, it's a military asset that they're trying to clean
I
up.
I think if the Jason Bourne.
I totally agree with that.
Don't get
I
me
agree.
wrong, I cried. Short Circuit 1
It
and
was
2.
sad.
So,
But ultimately,
So-
couldn't we see him getting hacked and turned into a killing machine again? By the wrong person.
Get him turned into what's that other movie? What's the one that just came out about the robot? It was basically Short Circuit the remake. Chappie.
Chappie.
Oh,
yeah.
Chappie.
Chappie.
Oh, yeah.
Was he South African?
Wow.
Yeah.
No, because it was.
Why
from
you
the
look
old
Why you
Blow
look at me when you ask that question?
Because you're the only one who's seen the damn movie.
I haven't seen the movie. Ray saw the
I've
movie.
seen the movie.
Oh.
Why would you assume I saw the movie about the South African
Because you
robot?
brought it up. I assume you're not like me, and you don't bring up stuff about movies that you haven't seen.
I like sentient robots. I'm just for the purpose of this podcast.
So you saw Chappie.
I saw Chappie. I loved it.
Did you cry?
Was he
Yes.
South African, Ray?
No, he's a robot.
Wow.
Did he have a South African accent?
What Ray is saying is that South Africans are not smart enough to be robots.
Yes, he had it was Charlton Copley voicing the robot,
Who was also in the very underrated A-Team remake.
who is
I
also
think- God damn it, Chris. This is why we're doing this show. We should call this podcast Eye to Eye with Chris and Sands.
It was so good. I think we saw that movie together.
Oh, we did.
Did we?
Yeah.
I can't remember.
Was it Patrick Wilson? Patrick Wilson was so good in that movie.
I
So
forgot
good.
he was.
All right, but let's wrap it up. So,
But keep the part about him wanting to call his lawyer when his wife says she like Batman. Keep that in. She's gonna hear that. She's like, I was joking.
it's a joke.
It's a joke, babe.
It's a joke.
It's my shtick.
That's just what I do on the air.
It's what I do.
It's like Howard Stern, but not funny. All right, so
Wrap that
yeah,
shit up, B.
yeah. So we'll do this again in a couple weeks,
Couple weeks.
right? What are we doing it?
Uh,
Weekly?
Weekly.
why not?
Weekly. Oh, we'll do this again in a couple days. No, next week we'll do it again with another topic, and hopefully you like listening to it. Give us a line, drop us some comments, share it with your friends. Tell us what we're doing wrong. Tell us why we're wrong. Send your hate mail to everybody, especially Carlos. Thank you for listening to our podcast,
Damn.
and we will catch you again later.